Hey everyone, welcome to Daily Revelations. Thanks for joining me on this journey. And today we're going to dive into Genesis 16. And it kind of pairs up with a Bible study that I just wrapped up with some friends this morning, where we were doing a book, just an easy book to go through on contentment. But sometimes when you study the Bible, it's good to dive in like I do and get lots of meat. Sometimes it's good to slowly go through just digesting small bits of scripture and really digging through what is applicable in your life and allowing others to speak into your life on those things as well. And as you're talking about it, just the depth of what you learn by just figuring out how to apply what God teaches us on a daily basis. So, like I said, this study was a tiny little book. It was on contentment, and we went through a chapter every other week. And it doesn't sound like a whole lot, but those Saturday mornings were times where it made me think, that's how I approached this. But then other people approached it differently, and they were asking questions and making observations that I never thought of before. And that's why it's good to be surrounded with other people who can speak that into your life. Just as much as God speaks into your life through his word, he does through other people as well. It makes you think, oh, I never thought of that perspective before. Or my experience hasn't given me that understanding, but now this person shared it with me. And so it gives us a deeper understanding. So in Genesis 16 is the story of Abram. Like I said, I'm going to use his name until it changes. Coming up, actually, it was in my scripture reading today, so starting tomorrow, we'll call him Abraham. But in chapter 16, he's still called Abram, and Sarah is still called Sarai. So we're going to call him Abram and Sarai still. And so Sarai said, you know what? It's been 10 years now, and nothing's happened. We've been on this journey. God said he's going to promise you something, and we haven't seen it. So you must be doing something wrong, and I've got a plan. I'm tired of waiting. I'm not content with how this is going, so here's my solution. And if you know the story, she basically says, well, here's my maid, my Egyptian maid. You can marry her as well. And through her, you'll have this son that God said he'd promise us. Well, that really backfired on her. And it put her in a situation where there was really bad vibes now between her and this other woman, because of course they were sharing the same husband. Not a good situation at all. And it made it actually worse. And as I was thinking about this and our whole study ending on contentment, I thought, you know what? There are times when God calls us to seasons where there's a purpose that nothing is happening. And it may just be because it is a season of nothingness. And nothingness has its work, but usually it has a work to do inside of us, not externally outside of us. And we hate that because we want to see evidence. We want to see proof. We want to see that something's going on. And yet things are going on. But in our realm of happenings, nothing's happening. And I even wrote in my notes that it could be even that whatever had been ordained for that period of time, I don't know, this is me thinking out loud, was not going to be a time where anything fruitful was to come about. Nothing good. It was almost a time of evil. And God was, in his divine wisdom, protects us from that work by closing doors and telling us to just wait. It does increase our faith, But if we don't find contentment in that nothingness, we can make a huge mess. And actually, as Sari learned, she not only ended up being discontent still because there was still no, I mean, yes, there was a son coming, but it wasn't going to be a good situation. And now she had this other situation to deal with on top of it. And so she made it worse. We want to see things happen. We want to enact change right away. We rush so quickly. And yet, it's during these times of nothingness that we can rest if we find contentment. And we can be ready for what lays ahead if we do. And I think about Sari's life and how much her own son, who was born later, and how difficult that was now to have this older brother that that wouldn't have been there had she not been so discontent. And just the what led to that rivalry in the future as well. We forget that our actions, even though they seem small now, can affect generations to come in very large ways. And finding contentment, even though we don't understand it, and resting in nothingness is a much better choice than trying to plow through. I'm guilty of that one. And make things happen out of our own accord, because in the end, we end up paying for it. And so do the people around us, our families, our friends, our communities. So that's my thought for today on Genesis 16. Thanks for joining me again for Daily Revelations, and I'll see you again tomorrow, everybody. Have a blessed rest of your day.